someone who travels around the world a lot and advises a lot of governments. I think at this point in time, Australia is most probably one of the most exciting educational systems to work in. There seems to be an energy and a commitment with the Rudd government, which is sort of moving all over the country. So I think it's an important and exciting time to be here. And what we've also tried to do is to try to translate that moral purpose into sort of a number of commitments. The focus on literacy and numeracy, using the E5 teaching framework as the focus of a lot of our professional development, trying to develop curriculum benchmarks which are really relevant for our young people, to ensure that every youngster makes at least a year's progress every year, and to sort of try to make school improvement, school reform, everybody's business. And I think I'm looking again at my colleagues over there. That's been the focus of a lot of our discussions over the last number of weeks and months, and I think it is a very clear commitment that Wayne has got for the region. But these are not just sort of pulled out of the sky or the ether, but they're sort of grounded in a set of values. And I think that it's quite important at the early stages of working together that we're clear not just about our moral purpose, but also about the values that we have as a group of educators. And I don't know, for me, these values are pretty important. Every student has a right to be helped to reach their potential. Intelligence is not a finite concept. Knowledge, learning skills and aptitudes are, learning skills and aptitudes are really important focuses for what we do in schools. That we as educators do make a difference. Students can learn from each other, and their voice needs to be recognized. And certainly the socioeconomic background of young people is something which should not predetermine their achievement at all. And I just would like, just now for a moment, for you just to take a moment to reflect upon those values. Are those values that you so espouse in your own school? Are there others that you would add to that? Are there values there that you're not comfortable with? Can we just have a few minutes discussing that on the tables? And I'll take a little bit of discussion then before we sort of move on to the school improvement framework itself. Okay. Do you agree with those values? Are you happy with them? Are there any you would add to that? Any you take away? Okay. I make no apology, Wayne, for starting in terms of talking about moral purpose and values, because really that's what we're about. And I said earlier that this is not an instrumental project that is being committed on schools. We are co-constructing this together. And that's the only way, it seems to me, that we're going to make a difference. Instrumental forms of school improvement just don't work into the medium or long term. And that's why we're taking this rather more sort of professional approach to our work. And therefore I think it's important to start by talking about sort of moral purpose and values, because without that I think we're sort of wasting our time, really. Okay, well, let me then share with you the framework, the general framework that we're going to be using to inform our work together. And Wayne has just told me he's now got we've been working on this diagram for some time. This is still in draft form, but next time we meet, I think Wayne's got a whole flying animation that we can use on our Apple Macs. But you've got to use we'll have to suffice with the draft version today. But the thoughts are still the same. That the whole focus of our work is increasing the learning of our students. And I like the phrase powerful learning, because what we want is to create powerful learners inside our schools. And some of the initial programs that we're going to be working on in the project, and this is certainly what we've been doing in the first phase of the work, is that we've been sort of focusing on behavior issues, literacy, numeracy, and when I use the word pedagogy, sorry, that's a bit of a jargon phrase, but I use the word pedagogy and teaching and instruction as being synonymous. I'll say a bit more about this after morning tea. But I'm quite pleased and excited by the initiative that the state has taken about the sort of the focus on teaching and learning with the sort of the E5s program. And we'll certainly try and make that a major focus of some of the professional development work that we're doing together over the next year or two. So the logic is that we'll beginning to sort of develop programs in those areas, and you'll be saying a bit more about those later, Lena. But then the idea is that they're not sort of standalones, that really want to take these ideas and to get them to sort of permeate into the general classroom practice that goes on inside our schools. And for me, there are three key aspects to sort of effective classroom practice. It's sort of the curriculum knowledge that we use, the teaching and learning strategies that we employ as professionals, and how we sort of use assessment for learning to guide the progress and direction of our young people. And what I'm hoping for, and what I know has happened in the Phase 1 schools, is that the discussion about classroom practice, the discussion about how assessment fits in with teaching and learning and into to curriculum, those professional discussions have deepened and have sort of become quite palpable in the Phase 1 schools. The sort of the professional discussion has deepened and spread, I think, quite impressively, and I'm certain that will be the case in your own situations as well.